It's time for me to give my predictions for UFC Des Moines Sandman versus Figgy. I'm actually going to start from the early prelims, work my way to the main event, give my predictions and full breakdown of each fight, and maybe what I'm thinking for bet-wise. The casual parlay dropped yesterday. I'm going to have a betting video later. I noted in the casual parlay that this is a tricky card for me. Very tricky card for me. Did I just spaz out? Very tricky card for me as far as betting-wise. A lot of coin flips here for me. Not a lot of places where I feel safe and comfortable, and a few places where I do feel comfortable. A lot of people don't feel comfortable. So it's going to be interesting to see how this card plays out. I feel like there's a lot of coin flips. Let's get right to the early prelim. Got Juliana Miller versus Ivana Petrovic. Nasty work. Nasty work. I'll pick Petrovic, I guess. She's tougher. She's more skilled. Even though she lost to Jamie Lynn Horth. With all due respect, I don't know how these two women are in promotion. Both are tough. But run from a fight, will take their beatings and not cower. So that's commendable. Ooh, vocabulary word of the day. Commendable. C-O-M-E. Okay. Juliana is probably tougher, but Ivana is more technically sound. I'm going to pick Ivana Petrovic. Plus 3.5 either way is probably good. But I'm not going to touch it. This is nasty work. This is nasty work. Moving on, some more nasty work. We got Thomas Peterson versus Dontel Mays. Nasty. Thomas can wrestle. Poor striking, but his clinch game is good. Just struggles to close that distance sometimes. And he does get you on the ground, which he does have pretty good takedowns. He's really good on top, really good at control. Will hammer away. Dontel Mays isn't really good in any area, but he's a much better striker. But he's not that great of a striker. Heavy-handed, I guess. If you think Thomas gets the takedowns, then it's easy pick. And I do think he gets them. And ground and pounds Dontel Mays through the mat. So I'm going to go with Thomas Peterson here. We got Gaston Bolaños versus Quangli. Bolaños. Good Muay Thai. Okay, wrestling. He's well-rounded. Got brutalized against Marcus McGee, but Marcus McGee is that dude. So I'm going to kind of let him slide for that, but he got beat up pretty bad. He got finished pretty badly. Ilya Taporia's twin brother. Bolaños can be taken down, but can secure his own takedowns. Bolaños will let his hands go. Lets him go really well. Good combination. Quang is kind of bit the same way. Lets his hands go. He comes forward, but he's chaotic. He tries to make something happen, and I like that. I like people who try to make something happen, but his chaos is a bit too sloppy for this one in this matchup. So for that, I'm going to be picking Bolaños to outstrike him. And I like the odds on this tricky week. And I'm thinking I'm going to invest. Moving on, we got Marina Rodriguez versus Gillian Robertson. This is probably my most confident pick on the card. I think Gillian's going to maul this girl. Smash her. I think she's going to smash her. Her International Fight Week performance against Michelle Waterson Gomez showed that she can, soften her opponent up, can land some ground and pound, and won't just lay on top and submission hunt when her submissions are really good. Marina doesn't suck. She has good striking, but her takedown defense is non-existent. And Gillian's probably one of the best grapplers in the division. I believe this is flyweight. Strawweight. 115. 115. Ooh. It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. But she is, she's one of the best. She's a good grappler. How about that? She's a good wrestler, good grappler. Okay, wrestler. Good grappler. Good BJJ. Try, dang, I'm thinking about 115. But she's not fighting anyone who's going to make her fight standing. So this is an easy pick. Most confident pick on the card. Gillian Robertson. Casual parlay piece. Ryan Loder versus Azamat Bokoyev. Let's fix this microphone here. I'm picking Azamat because he's the far better striker. Faster. He's not really fast. But he's faster than Ryan Loder. And he's much more powerful. Ryan Loder's a high-level wrestler, but very weak in the hands. Control. Position over submission. Good on top. Just got a ground and pound finish over Robert Valentine. For all that's worth. Azamat's much more well-rounded, though. Not super technical, but he's really powerful. A bit undersized, but he has good cardio. Great training partners around him. I think Azamat outstrikes him to a decision. I think Azamat, but he doesn't have big power, so I wouldn't be surprised he gets Ryan Loder in trouble and we see some desperate takedowns from Ryan Loder. I'm going to pick Azamat Bokoyev by KO. Moving on, we got Yana Santos versus Misha Tate. Misha Tate's still around, man. Legend of the game. Much respect to Misha. Former bantamweight champion. She was my girl back in the day. That's it for that. I'm picking Santos. Big volume. Not that much power. But good boxing. Very mid wrestling. but she's fast and isn't a complete cone in the wrestling realm. Like, they're not just gonna take her down with like it's nothing. And she can wrestle in her own right. I don't think she's gonna wrestle in this matchup, and I don't think Misha Tate's takedowns are that good. I don't think she's also gonna be able to deal with the speed that's gonna be coming back in her direction. She's been super inactive, and her overall plan will be to get the fight to the mat. And I think Santos wins on damage. And she's the dog, so I did play Santos. Another little so throwing in there for y'all. We trying to speed through these. I like being a little quicker. All right, I know I can ramble. I'm trying to be a little quicker. Jeremy, Lil, Heathen, Stevens makes his return to the UFC in his hometown against Mason Jones. This pick is going to be Mason Jones. Tough UFC run, but his losses have aged pretty well. His losses were Mike Davis, dog, and Ludovic Klein, super dog. His winning, and he has a win over David Onama. And this is from ages 25 to 28. He has much more experience. He just went to Cage Warriors and ran through everyone they put in front of him. KO after KO. I think 4 fights, win streak in Cage Warriors, 3 KOs. Mason Jones has a ton of confidence nowadays. And Jeremy Stevens, just to be honest, is a shell of himself. Mason's boxing is really, really good. He has pretty dominant wrestling as well, offensive and defensive. Jeremy's a legend for Mason with all due respect. Jason's a legend of the game. It's kind of wrong for the UFC to do this to him. You know, in his hometown, his return fight. But we saw with Lionheart in his hometown, his retirement fight. And the UFC don't really care about their legends. They just want to build somebody else up off of your name. Kind of sucks, but that's what they're going to do. Mason Jones is the clear pick. Series C. This is Cameron Smothering. This one is a tough one for me. City didn't beat Grant Armfield, just saying. But City has questionable grappling. And I say questionable. It's questionable because Garrett is really, really good in that aspect of the game. So I don't know if I should just hold that against him too much. But he got taken down a shitload of times in that fight. And he got outstruck. So is this that tricky? It's just Cameron Smothering, you don't know that much about him. Regionals, killing it. Came in against Jake Hadley, who's a bum. But he killed it. But I am going to pick Cam. Somewhat low confidence because he does well closing the distance. Landing power. Actually, the more I'm talking about this, my confidence does get bigger. And I gain more confidence in Cameron. Because Gary Armfield is not a good striker. But he also had the takedown. I don't know. I think I might. Cameron's the dog, though. But I don't want to just play it. Just knowing, he's the dog, so I'm going to play it. So my confidence originally isn't that high. But I know money's going to come in on Cameron Smotherman. I know it is. I think 75, 80% on Tapology picked Smotherman. So I know money's going to come in on Smotherman. And it might drop that line. He might not be a dog by the time I gain the confidence I need. But I don't know. Cam does do well closing distance. And he has big power. Plenty of highlight real KOs, like I said, on the regionals. Killing it. We're going to see what he actually has. He's a somewhat decent opponent. But he did what he's supposed to do. He smoked Jake Hadley, like I said. I'm going to pick Cameron Smotherman, though. Moving on. Daniel Marcos. Your time has come. Finally, my moment has come. I picked John Castaneda. It's a bad read. Picked Adrian Yanez. Not so bad of a read. If you know, you know. I think he lost that fight. But being there live, I think the crowd agreed. They booed him out of the building. Tampa booed him out of the building when Daniel got his hand raised. But now, Daniel, your time has come. There's no way out of this. Daniel has really good power. Not Daniel. Whoa. Daniel is a really good striker. Great volume, nice combination. Has a large variety of strikes. Good movement. Showed some wrestling upside in his last fight as well. Decent chin. Pretty tough guy. He's Peruvian. But Montel's a different beast. Devastating knockout power. Really, really good speed. Really, really good wrestling as well. You know, Daniel Marcos does have good takedown defense so far. Daniel could cause some problems by staying on his bike, but I'm picking Montel by KO. Marcos gets hit a lot. He's like I said it in my casual parlay video. He's landing over 5 strikes per minute, but he's getting hit with 4. It's because he has that high volume. I think Montel makes him pay. Adrian Yanez had Marcos in trouble. Had big moments. Montel Jackson is the king of big moments. Picking Montel Jackson by K. Oh. Moving on. Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Daniel Rodriguez. Hard pick for me. But I am going to pick D-Rod. Because I do think he's the better boxer. Santiago is a decent striker. Good striker. Actually, a good striker for this point of his career, I guess, for his levels of competition he's been fighting. Doesn't really shoot takedowns either. Has KOs, but his power isn't necessarily all that. It's a lot of accumulation. Overwhelming. shots, high volume. But I think Daniel can handle it. He can enter a bit of a flow state sometimes with his hands. And especially when he doesn't have to worry about the wrestling. I'm going to pick D-Rob by decision. I think plus 3.5 here is okay. Either way. The odds are so close, so it's probably juiced. And I think over on rounds is cool too. If over 1.5 rounds isn't too crazy, I'll probably take it. And maybe even parlay it. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. I think it's going to be fun. Doesn't really mean anything as far as rankings goes, but it's going to be a fun fight. Fun fight for Des Moines. Moving on, we got Bo Nickel versus RDR. This one's interesting. Because RDR is fighting the first wrestler he's ever fought in the UFC. GM3 doesn't count because takedowns are not good. But Bo Nickel's showing in his last fight, he ain't shooting on somebody with good BJJ. He didn't shoot on Paul Craig. He's probably not going to shoot on RDR. Somebody who's bigger than Paul Craig. Maybe even a little better in the submissions than Paul Craig. That might be a hot take. And I think that's lame. Because if you're this nasty and dominant wrestler, then show it. It's even more frustrating for me because I'm a big Bo Nickel fan. I've been singing his praises ever since he came into the UFC. But he's going to look to keep the fight standing. He brags about this wrestling, but he's not going to use it in this fight because his opponent has BJJ. And that's freaking annoying. Because the good wrestlers, they're going to say, okay, brother. I did not mean to do that accent. Did I? Maybe I did. I'm sorry. But somebody who talks as highly about the wrestling as Bo Nickel does, with the wrestling credentials that Bo Nickel does have, they're shooting. They're going to shoot no matter what. Because I'm better than you. I think he's going to get the fight standing. I think he gets too much hate for his Paul Craig fight. It was extremely boring, but he did showcase some good technique. Y'all are dragging it. His left hand looks good. RDR has 0 striking. He's oafy. He's slow. BJJ, like I said, world class. World class. Odds are too wide for me, which is crazy because Bo Nickel minus 2,000 favorite. You know, this is probably the best odds we've ever had on Bo Nickel while he was in the UFC. But it's also the best opponent he's ever faced in the UFC. I am picking Bo. I really don't think he's going to grapple, and I think he's going to keep this fight standing no matter what. I'll strike RDR and break it to the rankings and take RDR's ranking spot. And then we got the main event. Corey Sandhagen versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Odds are entirely too wide. I'm probably going to bet plus 9.5. Plus 9.5 would mean Deiveson Figueiredo needs to win a round without getting finished. Or just win the fight outright or get a finish, and the bet hits. Sandhagen has the beakers and test tubes, volume and speed, mixed in with some rapidly improved grappling. He's a really good grappler nowadays at this point. Not much of a finishing threat unless he lands some kind of Hail Mary shot, like a flying knee, something crazy. But not really that high finishing upside. If Sandhagen's odds get better later in the week and tighten, like they already are starting to tighten, like he was minus 600 at one point, minus 550. Now he's down to minus 4 something, which is good. If it keeps going, I'll probably parlay that. But right now, I'm good. Yeah, Figue's a dog, man. He has good power and wrestling, but he tends to get behind in his fights and be just a step behind in the wrestling, just a step behind in the striking. But he is a dog. He isn't going to go away. He'll bite down on the mouthpiece and try to make something happen. But Corey is the pick, and this fight could low-key be boring, comparing it to Peter Yan versus Figueiredo. But the pick is Corey Sandhagen. I think he's just a tad bit better in every single realm of the game while being longer, faster. Yeah, the pick is Corey Sandhagen. Let me know if you agree. What picks, who you had. Let me know if you disagree with anything. I love to debate you. Like, comment, subscribe, share to somebody I know they enjoy just like you did. You ain't got to go home. You just got to get about it, man.